Now to former President Trump speaking to conservative voters at CPAC, where a poll is showing strong support for a 2024 run. ABC's Zareen Shah is in Washington for us. Good morning, Zareen.
Good morning, Lindsay. It's a conference for conservatives, but Ron DeSantis wasn't there. Neither was Mike Pence nor Pompeo. Nikki Haley wasn't there either. CPAC centered solely around Donald Trump, foreshadowing what we might see this November and beyond.
Trump's newest stars taking center stage at CPAC, setting the tone for the midterms and possibly the party's future.
We drove a stake through the heart of the McCain machine.
Fresh off her primary win in Arizona, the Trump-backed gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake ramping up the crowd right before the former president reiterated his baseless election claims. Trump also mocking the January 6 hearings.
If they'd used the same energy to go and make our country great, it would be an incredible thing, but I don't know if they can do that.
And in a more bizarre moment, a man portraying a January 6 defendant dressed up in a prisoner's suit, crying in a fake jail cell as Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene prayed by his side. But notably absent, many of the Republicans who once stood by Trump's side, including rumored 2024 candidates Ron DeSantis, Mike Pence, Nikki Haley, and Mike Pompeo.
I want Trump back in there, 2024.
These are my people. I'm a Trump supporter.
And political watchers say that Trump's influence over the Republican Party is likely to loom large, at least throughout the next presidential election cycle.
I think the other candidates are expecting Trump to fade, but the establishment has expected him to fade for years, and he hasn't yet. But if they see that Trump is still extremely strong, I don't think some of them will stay in the race very long.
Some Republican voters surveyed said they'd be open to another candidate, so there were two straw polls at CPAC, one with Trump, one without. In the one without, Governor DeSantis leading with 65% of the vote.
I think I would end up going for DeSantis. I think a younger person would be better for the party, would get more voters out there. And I think Trump just has too much controversy tied to him.
In the poll with Trump, he got 69% of the vote. That's a 10% increase from the same CPAC poll just earlier this year, and it highlights the tight grip that he has on the party. Janae?
All right, Zareen, and we're going to stay in Washington and bring in our ABC News political director, Rick Klein, to ask him exactly about that. Rick, Trump at CPAC last night, as Zareen said, rumored 2024 other candidates were not there. This comes after the candidates he endorsed won a number of key primaries last week, a MAGA sweep in Arizona and Michigan. What, if anything, does this signal for Republicans moving forward?
Janae, so striking to see these Trump-backed, in many cases election-denying candidates winning up and down the ballot in battleground states, including just this past week in Arizona and in Michigan. One of the 10 impeachment-supporting Republican congressmen lost his re-election race in the primary. We're going to have major tests coming up in a couple of days now in Wisconsin, another place where you've got Trump on one side and Mike Pence on another. Pence lost round one last week on that. But what's going to be interesting now is to see how this really translates into the fall, because Trump has shown an ability to elevate people that the voters like in these states. The MAGA movement is extremely strong inside Republican primary politics. That isn't the same as the general election. As we start to turn to the fall, I think you'll see more scrutiny on some of the people that Trump selected and boosted.
We will be looking to that. And in the meantime, looking at the Democrats, do you think they're feeling any better about their chances to win these key midterms with the wins that they are putting on the board?
Yeah, and this bill that they're moving through the Senate is an example. The hope among Democrats is that they can start talking about what they've done instead of what they haven't done. And their hope is that a major legislative package on some key priorities around health care and the environment and taxes is one more thing to bring to voters. But I got to say, it is about the economy. And we've got a poll coming out later this morning that gets into the details of how voters are viewing the economy. And until or unless that really changes, Democrats are going to have a hard time making an affirmative case to voters. The best thing they may have going for them, frankly, is some of the candidates that are winning Republican primaries. That might be their best shot to hold on to the Senate in particular.
But so many Americans feeling the pinch and focused on the economy. Rick Klein, thank you so much for being with us this morning. And just a reminder to tune in to This Week later this morning as Senate Democrats seek to pass their climate and tax bill. George Stephanopoulos will go one-on-one exclusively with Democratic Senator Chris Coons and GOP Senator Mike Rounds. Plus, George has an exclusive with former Governor Bill Richardson to discuss prisoner swap negotiations with Russia to release Brittany Griner and Paul Whelan. That's all coming up on This Week right here on ABC.
Well, Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.